Hey guys, welcome back. We have unfortunately lost Suetonius. He has to get a train home. We are however joined by resident CSM member Nash Cadaver, the man who's put it all together. You enjoying yourself so far today, Nash?
I'm very tired, like some of the other members of the team, but I'm coping.
Yeah, we're down to a pretty skeleton crew at the moment, dropping people off left, right. We've already lost Jintan, who did an amazing job. Suetonius, who did an amazing job. We lost anyone else?
Reload, yeah.
Reload also had to head off back to Wales. The sheep obviously missing. However, the next match coming up is between Exodus and the Culture. Exodus Tournament Giants, the Culture, slayers of CVA and Jintan's hopes and dreams. So in the last match that each of them fought, they both brought very similar comps. So we've got Exodus, who brought Balgorn and Neros, Hurricane Fleet, Harp Navy, Brutix Navy, and another Brutix Navy, Svipple Purifier Cruor, and then the Culture bringing the same top end. You've got Balgorn and Neros, double Harp Navy here, double Oracle, which is a ship we see very rarely in the Alliance tournament, double Hyena, Heretic, and Cruor. Rocket, what are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'd say if they've both fielded the same kind of doctrines before, then they're probably going to do the same again. We're probably going to see very similar setups from them, and I think that Exodus may very well bank on that and then ride their execution to victory.
Yeah, I mean, Nash, you've been sat behind the scenes all day doing the gallery stuff. Are there any teams that have spoken to you today, not necessarily even Exodus or Culture, any teams that you've really enjoyed following, teams that you've really enjoyed the matches of?
Oh, absolutely. I think the interesting thing is we've got both arenas running in the back here, and despite you guys obviously talking about the Exodus match, which is going to be very interesting, but I've actually been watching ABA quite a lot, and they just smashed Snuffed Out, and that was a really good match to watch. It was very close. They did lose their Logi at one point, and it could have gone either way, but they pulled through, so it was exciting. It's one of the better matches I've seen so far.
Fantastic. So let's see what teams these guys have beaten to get to this part of the winners bracket. Exodus have beaten two incredibly strong tournament teams, Kick and Vidra. I don't think we expected either of those teams to be in the losers bracket this early on before we saw the brackets. And the Culture having a bit of an easier road. They fought Brotherhood of Spacers and CVA. This is the Culture's first real big test in the tournament. And to be honest, against Exodus, I'm not sure they can make it. What would you guys predict for this match?
I've got a little bit of insider knowledge. I've already seen what they're flying.
Don't spoil it for us.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, and I'm going to go against my better judgment, and I think Exodus is going to lose this.
Exodus is going to lose? Ooh, Rocket.
I think Exodus is going to win it. I think, like, if based on what we've seen, they've fielded similar, they've both fielded similar setups previously, and I think the execution on Exodus' side is going to win.
Personally, I think that Exodus haven't done enough to make CCP Rise proud yet, and their love for him will bolster them through and allow them to beat the Culture. However, before we go into the match, we've still got a few minutes, so I do want to give Nash the opportunity to speak about all the guys we've got here. Massive shout-outs, for example, we have a guy called Jake on staff, I believe, who speaks English and Russian and Icelandic. It's like he was born to play Eve.
And French, and German.
Oh, Jesus. And he's been translating some of the banter in local for us. So tell us a bit about the guys behind the scenes.
Yeah, so this may look very smooth, and I think the guys have done. An amazing job so far. But you got to remember that we've got about 20 people working on the production, and then we've got a couple of people on the sideline doing some extra bits as well. Specifically here on site, we've had 7 people specifically directed with doing the commentating, working on the stream, getting stuff sent through. Then additionally, we've got 2 techs, which are indeed Jake and Ryan. They're vision mixing the studio. And the sound mixing as well. Then we've had 6 people on staff for doing commentating offsite, and these guys are based in Sweden or America. We've got Rain, Chesser, we've got Sir Squeebles, we've got quite a few people. But I'm sure we'll get to talk about it after the next match.
Yes,
so.
Sure. Let's go now into Exodus versus the Culture. What a match! Let's go there.
Hello, I'm moderator joined by Elise Randall for what should be an excellent match between Exodus and the Culture. Exodus have brought a Balgorn and a Neros, Fleet Hurricane, Navy Harbinger, 2 Navy Brutixes, a Svipple, Purifier, Hound, and a Cruor.
And the culture are bringing something hilariously clowny and incredibly devious. They've got double Navy Megathrons, double Navy Harbingers, double Navy Brutixes, double Federation Navy Comets, and then double Couriers. They are going all faction, all hull tanked, no Logi, just full on DPS and EHP. It should be an interesting match. Exodus have a massive control bar, though. It's almost breaking the screen, so we'll see. I'm sure there's going to be some tracking disruptors, and these peoples are going to screen, and this crew is going to hold stuff down. So we're not really sure how this is going to go down. The culture really don't want to get controlled, and of course, straight off the bat, they get webbed. Two Navy Megathrons are webbed at long range. Oh, not a position these Navy Megas want to be in. They are not even moving. They need to rush into this Exodus squad, but they can't.
So already the Valgorn was making the correct play. They were screening off the... Has the entire team for the culture just micro jump drived?
Yep, they all just micro jump drive straight behind the Exodus squad. What a play! What a play! We've never seen this in the tournament so far. This is the first time. They all just spooled up MJDs. The Comets ran. The crew ran to the side as it took a lot of damage, and they're behind the Exodus' enemy lines as Exodus now has to pull a 180 and start charging. Let's see how this works out.
So we can see Exodus is rapidly reforming their ranks. The Brutix Navy issues are now micro jump driving. These Brutix Navy issues are micro jump driving behind to sandwich between Exodus. They're trying to trap them between a rock and a hard place, and already Culture have lost a single crew war. They need to get tackle on top of all these Exodus heavy ships before they can do it.
They double jumped. They all double jumped. They jumped to the beacon, jumped all the way back. They're making Exodus run around in circles. Unfortunately, they're bleeding frigates while doing this. But it doesn't matter. The double jump paid off. The culture caught a Navy Brutix belonging to Exodus, and they're pounding him down. They escaped from all the control of Exodus, made them look like fools. That was crazy, crazy good. For those that don't know, this is often never used. There are 6, actually no, there's like a bunch. I think there's 9 JD beacons spread out around the arena that when activated, they bounce your ship 100 kilometers in the direction you're facing. So the culture, they used the micro jump drives on their Navy Brutixes and their battleship hulls, and they jumped to one beacon, turned around, activated, and all jumped back. That is definitely something Exodus did not expect. Unfortunately, it's not really panning out for them too much, as their craziness, they've only got 1 Harbinger and 1 Brutix tackled, and they've already got, the culture already have 1 Navy Harbinger dropping into structure. It is structure tanked, obviously, but these Megathrons are being controlled, and they're going to be neuted out soon, and without any cap, their guns cannot fire.
Already we can see Axis bomb their own O'Neills, but they did it to clear off a swarm of Hornet 300s. I think they just cleared about 20 Hornet 300s doing that. So far, Axis is playing this correctly. They've had to reform their ranks 2 or 3 times now, and now they're rotating around. A bit late, but we're seeing that GM has informed us that the Balgorn flown by Axis is actually their flagship. That explains why these Megathrons are being controlled at such a long range. They can't close to range because these faction or officer webs are preventing them from getting in. Axis now reforming their defensive line in order to prevent these Harbingers and Brutixes from crashing on top of them, despite the micro jump drive plays that Culture have been making.
Man, that was some crazy, crazy inventive play by Exodus, really, or by the culture, trying to be really imaginative. And if it was against any other team, it might have paid off. But Exodus, really disciplined. They know what's going on. They were able to react just in time to something that they probably never practiced. And,
so I like this thought process by Culture, right? You're going up against a team that you know you're not favored to beat. They can probably outpilot you. They can probably outcomp and out-theorycraft you. So what do? You throw them a complete curveball from left field. You do something that no one has ever seen before in the history of EVE Online, AT, or has ever expected. And this is completely insane. Unfortunately,
the culture are not doing it, but they do have still some tackle on a Navy Brutix belonging to Sabotage, who is slowly dropping. The Oneros belonging to Exodus is not getting that many reps off. I'm trying to figure out why. He might have been under cap pressure at one point, but he looks pretty fine now. It looks okay. Never mind. It looks like he might be a bit in fall off of his Navy Brutix brethren, and Sabotage might go down. Not the best trade that the culture wanted, but it's gonna, I guess, kind of work. It's better than nothing if they can get it. And there we go. They traded Navy Brutixes. The culture have 2 Megathrons and 1 Navy Brutix left. Exodus have basically the entire field. Massive control from this Flaghorn. This Flaghorn can hold every ship at bay right now and just completely mitigate the damage of at least 2 of them with its very strong Nosses.
The Balgorn isn't even bothering to get into possible newt range of these Navy Megatrons. He's just staying far into the edge of his optimal with his webs, and he's preventing anything from moving. We can see that every ship that Culture has remaining is completely hard tackled down. And it was a valiant effort, I gotta say, Culture. That was absolutely brilliant, mind-blowing, but it just didn't work out for them. I have to give Exodus credit, my former team, for being able to correctly read into the setup and knowing exactly what to do against it.
Yeah, that is incredibly interesting, and that is one thing that, again, we've never seen. Just using the entire MJD beacon. I might have misspoken. It might have just been the team using the MJD beacon at the very center of the arena, which exists, and then bouncing to another one, and then bouncing back, because some of the crewers did actually make the jump. So, man, really inventive play by the Culture. I wish it worked out for them. Unfortunately, it looks like Exodus is too good, too disciplined, and keeping their composure for this Alliance tournament match. And I gotta say, Exodus looked really good. They opened up the tournament on our stream while PL were fielding a State Raven. Exodus were making short order of their opponent with a double curse missile damping strategy, which looked really powerful against the meta that we're seeing. And I expect a lot of people to try that next weekend to try and copy that first Exodus setup. And maybe they're going to try and copy this one too, because it looks so good. Right now, not too much happening. Just some Navy Megas just completely unable to fire or do anything. They're neuted out. They're slowly dying. Exodus isn't even trying to focus fire or anything. They're just killing everything left, right, and center. The Culture is saying GG's in local. Exodus giving them credit, saying that is the coolest double MJD trick that they've seen before.
The Culture is going to be exiled down to the lower bracket. I don't know what to say. I've been left completely speechless by this play.
Absolutely, me too. That is definitely really cool. I've seen some theory of it trying to be attempted before, bouncing between the beacons, but I've never seen it executed quite so well. Culture made Exodus run around in a circle for the first minute of the match, and that was definitely hilarious. And they were able to get behind this massive control bar, and they actually got 2 or 3 ships tackled, which is a feat in its own right when you're coming up against a control team this strong and this daunting. So props to the Culture. They are not eliminated. They will go down to the elimination bracket, where they will have to basically take a road through hell to try and advance into the finals of the Alliance tournament. But, props to them. If they can pull out more tricks from their deep goodie bag, then maybe, just maybe, they can do it and create some upsets and break some hearts. Exodus looking
against
good.
Any other team, this would have worked. I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the lower bracket. They're going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with if they've got a theory and setup pool that deep.
Yeah, absolutely. And for now, the Culture going down to the next bracket, into the elimination bracket. We will see them next week. Exodus victorious, remaining in the winners bracket, and we will see them next week as well. For now, we're sending it back to the boys in the studio.
Hey guys, where are we going? I'm starving. Whoa, what's over here? What are we all looking at? Nice. What are you laughing at? Whoa, what's over here? Oh my gosh.
Doing the same things they did last time. They're just charging straight in towards the enemy. They have no fear.
Yeah, guys, we are back with another Hull Tank team going down. I know CCP Fozzie is a massive fan of Hull Tank teams. He'll be really happy to see them in play. Probably less happy to see them all dying. Rocket, what did you think of that match, buddy?
Well, I mean, it was an entertaining match to watch. I mean, it was pretty one-sided, in fairness. I think we saw pretty much what we expected from Exodus, fielding something very similar to what they've done before. Noticeable difference between the two teams. Exodus brought Logi. It's a little more complicated setup, has more moving parts, requires more experience to fly and do well. the culture just burned in and went for it and brawled and threw everything they had at them, and it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're seeing so many whole tank teams die today that they're probably getting a worse rap than they deserve. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're good, but they are scary, because if you get caught, you are dead. They take so long to kill that you can't just go, quick, switch primary to the thing that's tackling us. No, it's staying there. If you get tackled, you're tackled. You have to fly pretty much perfectly for the 10 minutes it takes you to kill the damn things, which is probably one of the reasons why they've been so popular this year.
That's it. I mean, it's because of the way that the structure tanks work. Obviously, you have uniform resistances across the structure, so it doesn't matter. There's no way to kill them quicker. You just have to go through the DPS. I mean, we've been looking at the attack and defense bars, and they seem to be very, very high, but they tend to lack control for this sort of setup. Especially when you look at the defensive bar, it just goes all the way off the end. I mean, we watched one of the previous matches we saw. They lost 2 of their battleships already, and the bar was still full just because they have so much tank.
Poking outside of the damn building.
Yeah.
So much utility.
Nash, I know that we were speaking before about some of the guys in-house before we had to go to the match. Let's talk a bit about the guys who've given us support and sponsored us outside. So external companies, not our group.
So we've had a very busy team. So the EVT team is slowly growing and has now got more than 100 people on Slack working on some part or some project at EVT. You know, whether it's related to esports or the website or anything like that. But specifically for this weekend, we had Elinari Rodan. She actually writes for the website as well.
Angel.
She's amazing. She's so good, and she put a spreadsheet together for us that she's been working on tirelessly for the last 2 days, which gives us statistics, flagships used, what ships have been lost, what matches are up next. She's been absolutely pure gold. Hendrik Teledar has been working overnight. He's actually moved to Korea, and from there overnight, he's been working on the matches that were played yesterday and putting up on our YouTube channel. So everything will be available there. You can watch either the matches or the commentary. So he's done a cracking job there. Everybody's sort of been in a bit of a buzz. Like the website and the channels and Slack have been very busy.
There's a lot happening right now.
There's a lot of things happening right now.
I think the fatigue's starting to kick in as well. We've lost some people to just need to go to bed.
Yeah, need to eat.
One thing I actually wanted to ask you about, have the opportunity to ask you about on stream, is you recently went to Iceland to participate in your first CSM summit. Yep. You guys there, I'm hoping, as our representative, you brought up a little bit of tournament stuff, a little bit of community stuff. What's CCP attitude towards the tournament? I mean, obviously, it must be pretty positive. They're putting it on each year and they're giving us the support they are. Yeah. How's the talk about tournament in Iceland?
The CCP support towards tournaments is incredibly positive. I mean, I think this weekend is a testament of it. I mean, it's been so difficult. Like, my platform to become a part of the CSM has basically been to, represent the esports community. And unfortunately, I've been in a position where there's nothing to fight for because Logibro has been such a hero. Yeah. Everything that we could have possibly wanted in esports, he's made happen through the Thunderdome server, which we will be using for our championship, which is going to be starting next month. So we really look forward to that. But also, this weekend has been made possible by CCP Falcon, so head of community, and he's basically given us the funds to hire the studio and basically make sure that we have staff for the weekend, and get guys like Rocket and Sutonia, Jintan and Reload and yourself, obviously, to come over here for the weekend and actually make this happen.
Well, the next match for today is going to be a cracking one. It is going to be Brave Collected versus the Afterlife, the young versus the old, and it's going to be amazing. And we'll tell you more about that match coming up after these announcements.